Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Forestygian? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So this is a pre-early access build, and everything that you're about to see is subject to change. The game is due out on early access on October 31st, 2024. So this is a deck builder roguelike inspired by action RPGs, and you'll see why in a little bit. There are 7 different characters, but only one is available at the beginning. You unlock more over time. And as I said, this is a deck builder roguelike in the sense that you're going to be earning mana, playing cards, but it's in the style of like Diablo. So you'll be familiar with like the red health bars and the blue mana and all that jazz. And in between each battle, you'll be able to pick a path and take some upgrades or replace cards or take new ones, that kind of thing. So you'll be building your deck as you go. Assuming that you survive the battle encounter. And the only complaint that I have so far with this pre-early access build is that there's no screen resolution whatsoever in the options menu. You can hit Alt-Enter, but it turns it into this, like, borderless window, which I can't move around, so I really think some behind-the-scenes work needs to be done there. So the core of this game is, you've got this row of enemies, and the one closest to your character is on the front line there. And you have mana. This is all about puzzling out how to use your abilities and also conserve your mana so that you have enough to defeat a set of characters in front of you or enemies in front of you and then like sort of replenish everything for the next turn. See, your mana is limited, but your hand of cards, they aren't about spending mana. It's about gaining mana, typically, along with some other abilities. These cards typically have, like, you gain mana, but you also get health, or max mana, or you get an extra buff to gaining mana on your next card play. There's a lot of different effects on these cards that will take effect when you use them. So ideally what you're going to do is you spend your mana on the enemies in front of you, using various abilities. And then you try and spend these cards to get that mana back, to prepare yourself for the next wave, or to continue using your abilities to take out the enemies in front of you. And the way the enemies work, whenever the enemies sort of just pop in, they are ready. If they've got like a sword on the top left of their card with a white number, that means they're ready. But if they have a red 0 with a timer next to it, they are not ready, meaning they will not attack until the next turn. So ideally what you're trying to do is take out so many enemies that are ready, like just eliminate all the ones that are ready, and then conserve your mana for the next turn, because those will become ready, and then you'll have a whole new set of enemies that you have to defeat all at once. And these enemies will have different attributes to them, like if you hit this particular type of enemy with 2 or fewer damage, it takes 1 extra damage. Or maybe this enemy, no matter how much damage you do, it'll always take 1 damage, that kind of thing. And the character I played as was the only one that was available for the start of the game, and that's the Sorceress. She basically has these 3 fireball attacks, and the way the abilities are in the bottom left, the blue number is how much mana you spend, and the right sword number is how much damage it does, and the white bars underneath is how many enemies it will hit. So you've got one ability with 6 mana that you spend, and it'll hit 6 enemies, but only do 1 damage. But again, by spending cards, you can extend how many enemies you hit with your abilities or how much damage you do. Like, so you can buff your abilities. You can even queue up these abilities. So if you have like a Mana Steal ability on multiple cards, you can play them all, and then your Mana Steal will have like 3 or 4 stacks of it, and you'll be using these stacks over and over until it runs out. So it's really cool that you can stack abilities, and like you're not forced to like use one before another one can enter play. This being a pre-early access build, I'm not going to spend too much time with this, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. I know what you're saying, it's another deck builder roguelike, but it doesn't fall into the trap that other ones do, and that's, let's make an exact clone of Slay the Spire, it'll be great. No, let's do something that revolutionizes, or at least makes me feel like this is not a Slay the Spire clone. And that's what this game does. So I'm really curious to play more of it. But like I said, I think the options menu needs a little bit of work. The only thing available on the options menu are sound sliders, and that's it. So I think with more work in early access, I think this game could be great. I would love to see some permanent progression. At the moment, you're just unlocking characters and the like. There's no like skill trees. I would love to see some permanent progression. I would play this a whole lot more if they had something like that. So there you go, folks. That was Forestygian. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time. Take care.